Well, good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. Just out for a little local bimble, as I have been for the last while. Don't hold out much hope for light tonight. It's kind of overcast. There was a little bit of light earlier on, but a lot of overcast conditions now. Kind of standing quite precarious on the side of this cliff face here, so being careful not to fall over. Anyway, so kind of out today, or this evening, just looking to maybe capture some sort of intimate scenes. So rather than going for the wider view, unless the conditions do change, just looking to sort of pick out some intimate details. Now, I really would like just even a little bit of light, because that does help me pick out some of those sort of more finer details. But again, as I've said numerous times before on this channel, one of the real benefits of shooting local is just this coming out, this frequent visits to the same location. There actually seems to be a little bit more healthy thrift around as well, which is quite nice. So, but I'm just, precariously balanced up here on the cliff face, shooting down, and there would be a temptation to kind of shoot a wider scene with the main town of Portrush there in the background. But really, what I'm looking to do is just pick out some of those little details as the waves wash over the rocks. So, but it really needs light. So, on the 18-135, probably at about 35mm on the XT1. Carry on and get back to you if the light changes. Oh, nice little break in the clouds, love a bit of light, and it is just, it always amazes me. Probably shouldn't, because let's face it, light is what we're chasing, but the difference just a little bit of light, even quite subtle light, makes on textures. It's just fantastic. It just really brought the whole thing to life. Looks like it's kind of closing off again. You can probably see that disappearing from my face. Now, one of the things that you may find when you're shooting coastal scenes with kind of waves breaking over, you kind of have to anticipate the required shutter speed based upon when the waves are going to be kind of breaking over the rocks. So if you imagine that when the waves aren't breaking over the rocks, the scene is naturally darker. So if you kind of set up a 1.5 second exposure, and that, when the waves are not there, is giving you a correct exposure, chances are it's going to be overexposed when those waves start to break. So you start to sort of consider, okay, I probably need to shoot maybe sort of half a stop or a stop below that. So I'm shooting here at 1 second. Yeah, we're shooting at 1 second, and right now, with no waves and obviously no light either, I'm getting quite, with that sun gone now, it's about 2 stops underexposed. So actually in this case now, with the light gone, I would probably bring that back up again to about 1.3 seconds. And now, as those waves actually fill the frame, I can see that the exposure now looks much better. So again, it's just that little bit of anticipation, but yeah. Hopefully that light comes back, because that was rather nice indeed. So it actually looked like we were getting some nice light there, so I've kind of changed my plans a little bit. So rather than going for the more intimate shot, I think the light is perhaps going to play ball, allowing for a bit of the wider view. Again, one of the big challenges up here is a lot of the thrift has kind of gone past its best. There's a lovely sort of group here, really nice textures in the rocks. Some of that sort of looks like copper in the rock and the lichen, and there's one clump of thrift that looks okay, but there's another clump that really detracts from the scene, unfortunately. So I might try and compose something excluding the dead thrift, but so that sun has now disappeared behind quite a thick bank of clouds, so it'll probably be another, well, 15-20 minutes maybe, but there looks to be gaps on the horizon, so fingers crossed, eh? So I find a rather pleasant scene here, and while all of the thrift isn't in bloom, the main bloom in the foreground has got some lovely colour on it. And of course you've got the little, as I like to affectionately call it, old Nessie, just in the sort of far horizon. It gives just a little bit of interest. Now the sun at the moment is behind the clouds, but it is still casting some lovely light. That is going to break hopefully down below the clouds, so I'm actually shooting bracketed shots, which I'll then compose or composite in post. Some swallows flying by, lots of bugs about. First real buggy day of the year, so, but yeah, quite like that. So it would be nice to get some of that sun coming directly through, because on these rocks here it really does illuminate some of the textures in them. So I think I'll hold fire with this composition and wait for the light. So I'm probably going to end up focus stacking this image as well. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm really introducing some, even though I'm up at it's about 20 mil. I really, which should give me a very good depth of field. I'm quite concerned about this near ground here, right in front of me. So, and because if that light does pop down, I'm really trying to kind of emphasize the textures there. So yeah, probably going to focus stack this image as well. So bit of focus stacking, bit of dynamic range blending. It's all going off. And also all the midges are also going up my nose. Not pleasant. Well, as you can hopefully see, that sun has now dropped below that band of clouds. Still about half an hour before sunset, probably more, maybe 40 minutes or so. But we've now got some lovely light. We've also got loads of midges. Not sure if you can pick those up, but there's loads of them. It hasn't perhaps cast as much light on the foreground as I was hoping for. Apart from the midges, it's beautiful. Just, again, you'll hear me saying this a lot. Just lovely to be out. Right, might give this composition another couple of minutes to see whether we do get any more light on the foreground, and then I might move myself and try to find a final image for the evening. Midges! So I've brought myself a little bit further back, and just down the bank there's actually probably the best group of thrift, and I just like how it kind of isn't uniform, it just kind of meanders down the grass verge. Now I am including a little bit of the thrift on the right hand side just to kind of anchor the image a little bit, and I'm also paying attention to, there's a crop of rocks on the left hand side, and I just want to provide a little bit of space between that and the sort of edge of the cliff face, still being completely munched by midges of course as well, but it really is just that meandering line of thrift that's really kind of pulling my eye. Now again, the sun has dropped down below that cloud, but there is pockets of sort of haziness going on, so I don't think we're getting the full blast of the sun, but still rather pleasant. Right, still on the 18-135, still on the XT1. Just have a polarizer on, no other filters at the moment. So yeah, let's see what we can make of this. So I think that's probably going to be the end of things tonight. We're about 15 minutes away from sunset, but it looks like another really thick bank of clouds on the horizon, which is a shame because we've got some lovely clouds kicking around that are just starting to take on some colour, but I get the feeling they're going to be snuffed out. And the problem is, even if the clouds take on the colour, because we're not going to get any direct light on the foreground, I'm not sure it'll work, but hey, still quite a nice evening out. So I'm probably going to hang around for another 10-15 minutes and see whether there's anything to be had, but I don't think there will be. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this little bimble out and about. Yeah, that sun's definitely not coming back out to play, so I think I'm going to pack up, head down the road. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.